What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Cardboard Kane. I'm here today with you with the triple blister packs for Paradox Rift. We've got the C-Titan and the Artifacts. I've actually got 3 of each. I've already unboxed the 2 other ones for each one, just so there's not too much cardboard ripping and everything. And also, you'll find out about them in a future video coming up soon. It was part of our Paradox Rift unboxings for our cases and whatnot. And it was just something that I had noticed with the boxes themselves, and just something that I feel like Pokemon Company has done without realizing, or anyone really realizing it, or kind of just letting us know that they're sort of listening to feedback. I believe a lot of people are kind of happy, kind of upset when it came to alt arts and hits and all that kind of stuff being a little bit too easy to get. And then also at the same time the chase cards not actually being focused on Pokemon and being on trainers. So I honestly do think that the Pokemon Company have been listening. Purely because after opening 2 cases, I started to realize near the start of the main case that the hit distribution system seems very static now. It's definitely got a purpose. And it's also definitely got the feedback in mind, so that things are still easy to hit, but at the same time, it's not a definite hit. But I'll explain that very shortly while I'm cracking the packs open. So let's just go into the cracking stage. And these would be our promos for the set right there. We've got the C-Titan, and we've also got the Artifacts right there. So that's our 2 Black Star promos for the triples. These also should be coming out with single Checklanes, which I have another 2. So putting that aside, actually I think that's the first time we've had 2 of the same element for stuff. So we've got our packs here, as you can see. And we're going to start cracking in. And I'll start to explain what I mean by the different approach that the Pokemon Company seemingly have for Pokemon and stuff, I feel like going forward. So if we remember back to the Sword and Shield days, for those that were around during those days, we used to not have the whole luxury of having one alt art definitely every single booster box. Whereas Scarlet Violet seemingly has introduced that little luxury for us. And leading up to 151 is when obviously we started to remember how brutal Pokemon and the luck of pulling stuff can possibly be, but then rolled in Paradox Rift. Now with Paradox Rift coming around, like I said, we were opening a couple cases, and near the start of the second case I started to realize that there was a little bit of well, not even a little bit, it was very much like on board with, there was a very static approach to how they were packing the boxes, each booster box. And this is what I've realized, and for those of you out there that have opened a few boxes so far in a few cases, specifically the people with cases, you'll probably notice that each booster box allows you to get 1 hit, but that 1 hit, like the big hit, will either be an alt art or a gold card. If you hit an alt art, you're not going to get a gold card. If you hit a gold card, you're not going to get an alt art. Unless... What I feel like is every single case has a guaranteed booster box in each one that'll get a double hit. And what I mean by a double hit, I mean you'll have 1 booster box out of the 6 in a sealed case that will give you either 2 old arts or 1 old art and 1 gold card. And I haven't seen it yet, I haven't tested it yet because I haven't got one yet because I only have 2 cases, so I've only counted the double hit twice in each box. You could potentially get 2 gold cards as your hits in that double hit booster box in the case. So what I'm saying behind that is, I feel like they have a far more structured approach to how we're going to be getting hits in the future. Nice, I got my first Iron Hands here, the hit of the triples. Not bad. This already, I think I've opened up 3. This is my 3rd one, I think. And that's paid for the little triple blister. So it's not too bad because these go for about $20-25. Lovely. So yeah, so as I was saying, it feels like they are going in the line of giving us a structured hit distribution for each booster box. So from what I noticed, each booster box typically had... It had either the alt art or a gold card, one or the other. It had 2 full arts. They could either be full art trainers or full art Pokemon. It had 4 base EX, so like your standard base EX cards. And it also had 2 base EX Tera cards. So, for example, in this one, it'd be like Mewtwo and Hooper, for example. Like, not like this guy. This would be considered your base EX, right? There's nothing special about it other than the fact that people want it. But it's not a Tera card. It has, it's all shiny and etchy. So, and then also at the same time, the last 3 cards, you'll probably get 3 art rare cards. Now, considering those numbers, that could also change. It's kind of a plus or minus 1 all over the place. So if instead you got 3 full art trainers, you'd obviously be getting less of the art rares or the base EX or the Terra. You get what I mean? Because it felt like it was a very, 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 very static and very consistent. You would be getting 12 hits per box. So, keeping that in mind, it feels as though the Pokemon Company have listened to people being kind of happy, kind of upset. And here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This is the Terra one. So obviously there's a big difference between the base and the Terra EX base cards. You usually get 2 of these in a box, like as a static thing. But plus or minus, depending on what you get, the plus or minus 1 of whatever in the box. So it does feel like the Pokemon Company have listened to the people that are like, it's too easy to get hits. The value of the Pokemon cards isn't there. The joy of collecting is kind of gone because the surprise is gone. So we kind of have to take into consideration everybody that's in the hobby. We have to even consider the scalpers, unfortunately. The scalpers, which pretty much almost determine if a set is going to be incredibly expensive or not as expensive because they just ignore it. So everyone's like, oh, the scalpers are ignoring, so it can't be that great. But, that being said, oh wow, there we go. So you usually get 2 of these as well. So this is considered a full art, so I've learned that by opening those cases. This is considered a full art, so this you'd get 1 or 2 of these in a box, per box, specifically. Which is pretty good. This is actually going really, really well. These are paying for each of the triple blisters, which is quite amazing. I'm loving this. But yeah, like I said, it feels like the Pokemon Company has listened to feedback. They're trying to bring the joy back. It feels like they are trying to bring the joy back into actually opening packs, collecting the Pokemon. If you do get get lucky and hit the good stuff, then they'll hold their value relatively well, even a few weeks after the new set has been, has come and gone. Because, let's be honest, it's like, it's all about the collecting in the end. Yes, for a time period there, it was great that there was always thing, but then it kind of just took out the expectancy or the surprise that was there. But that being said, even though there are still, you're going to get 12 hits a box. If you don't get 12 hits a box, then you're probably going to get 11 at the worst, possibly, for a booster box, unless it's got like the box you've gotten is being incredibly badly packed. But it kind of gives back the allure of people investing in buying cases and unboxing cases because of that chance to get the 2 hits. At the same time, it could also mean that, is it better to buy cases, or is it better to buy single booster boxes here and there and hopefully hitting the double hit booster box? You see what I mean? So it comes down to like a bit of an ethical, moral like middle ground. Like, do you just buy single packs out of booster boxes from your local game store? Do you just buy a booster box here and there and hope you hit something? Or do you go spend big and buy the entire case and open the entire case or whatnot? That really is up to each individual person. That being said as well, from our first case, it went good. Like, the first case threw me off because I didn't realize that, because we got 5 alt arts, or no, 6 alt arts, because one of the double hit boxes had 2 alt arts in it, which is what I'm talking about. Oh wow, it's I'm loving this. I needed a playset. I'm getting my playset for a good price. the first box threw me out completely because we got 1 gold and 6 alt arts because of the double hit box. And then coming down to the second box, we started off with 3 gold cards in 3 boxes, which means we got no alt arts out of them. And then moving on, we got 3 alt arts and obviously 1 more because the third box had the 2 alt arts in it. Do you see what I mean, where I'm going with that? So you're gonna always get, in a case, 7, big hits, unless you get like a very lucky error box, or you get a case where there was 2 double hits in it or something. But I think they are definitely trying to add that little element of the Sword and Shield days where, there's a benefit, there's a 2 and 4 for getting cases. I mean, if you're master setting, you're more than likely going to be opening up everything anyway, because the gamble in the ideology of, I mean, if you don't open all of them, then you're probably going to miss out on that alt art you want, or the cards that you need. But there is the science to it, and I noticed that very early on into the second case when I was like, hang on, this is starting to look very, very same-ish, but not in a bad way. It was looking very same-ish, but not in a bad way. It was like, I know what to expect per box, so it kind of makes it a little bit more exciting for collectors, people wanting to get master sets and all that kind of stuff, complete sets, try to find certain cards. People want to complete the entire set, people that only want golds, people that only want alt arts, or people that only want art rares. You get what I mean. So, that being said, I'm not too sure if this information will influence the way you buy a product for Pokemon in the near future. I just felt like this was probably something that hasn't really been talked about. Oh, nice, there we go. We got an art rare. I think that's going to almost pay for the blister pack, which is great. This has actually been pretty decent. The only way this is going to get better is if we hit an alt art out of nowhere here. But, that being said, I feel like this should influence the way you buy a product in the near future. Purely because before there was like a very, very nothing reason to buy loose booster packs from a game store if they're providing them out of booster boxes. It was always... I was a very strong advocate for buying the blister packets, like the cardboard blister packs, because, they weren't tampered with and there's like a whatever hit spread. Now it feels like it's gone back the opposite way. I honestly think that Pokemon now is headed probably back in the right direction where people will feel a lot more fun, because it did get to a point there where the Pokemon company were feeling, hey, we need to throw everything at these guys because, if we give more hits, that means we sell more, or people will be more interested, right? Evidently, it didn't seem that way at all. It seemed like it went in the opposite direction. And we're down to our last pack here. Evidently, it seemed to go in the opposite direction, unfortunately, for the Pokemon company, and at the same time, I think, unsurprisingly, for the rest of the community, and at the same time, the Pokemon company. So it is nice to know that they have listened, and they are listening. I feel like Pokemon right now, and we get nothing for the last pack, has actually been not too bad for these triple blisters. These would be our hits right here. So we got 2 Iron Hands, which pretty much pay for their own respect, because these are like about $20 each per triple blister. So these would pay for 2.5 by themselves. Garchomp's a relatively nice hit as well, so that'll pay for, again, 1.5. And then you've got Jugulis and Hooper, and they'll pay for almost 1, plus the Garchomp. We've almost paid for all the back, plus you got all the little holos and the promos. I would say that is pretty much money well spent, but as I was mentioning, just wanted to bring this kind of information to light because I feel like it's very, 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 very important, purely based on the fact of now you're not going to feel like you're overspending or you have no idea what you're going to get into a box, because there have been people that have gotten booster boxes in the past and they've gotten let's just say example, 7 Copperages or something in Paldea or something. It's like, well, I didn't want that. That's not what I paid for. Why am I getting 7 of this when I could have just gone and bought them as a single or something like that and just saved a whole bunch of money? Whereas now, it really does feel like there's a structured approach to how Pokemon Company are distributing hits, and this is a lot better. This actually shows you that they're actually packing boxes correctly, or putting attention to actually packing the boxes. So, my opinion now, again, is booster boxes still reign supreme when it comes to actually getting your value for your money, for your worth, as opposed to going and buying random product all over the place, because it is random. It's like getting a blister pack. Example for here, the triple blister pack. You're not going to buy a blister pack, and you're definitely going to say, I'm getting a hit out of one of these 3 packs. There's no guarantee. There's zero guarantee. You could buy a tin, there's no guarantee. You could buy a UPC. I have seen some terrible UPC box pulls, and it's been depressing for like a $200, $220 product, and basically the best thing in the entire box was the playmat. And that's saying a lot. So, if you are new to Pokemon, and you got in because of 151, and you're continuing your journey on with Pokemon going into Paradox, I think it's a good time that you got into it. Only time will tell if this kind of hit distribution system goes on, but I feel, honestly, deep down, that this hit distribution system that they're approaching feels like it's the most balanced one. It keeps everyone happy, and you're pretty much getting your bang for your buck. So, honestly, at the top of my list, booster boxes, and if you've got a little bit more to spend, a case of booster boxes, they're your way to go if you want to try start getting heavily into master setting and just getting hits in general. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Do leave me a comment below if you agree, or if your hits have lined up the same way. I'll leave the little stuff in the description below of like the actual hit distribution I was talking about, just in case you needed like a static image or wording to look at to kind of pair up or line up with what you're getting. Let me know. Take it easy, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.